Hello, beloved members of the Musician College Prep community. Today we are going to go over how to enter a Nearpod. Uh, Specifically, I'm assuming that you are entering the Nearpod while you are in a Zoom meeting, such as a class. So that's why I have Zoom pulled up here. Sometimes you can access Nearpods when you're not in a Zoom meeting, but today I'm going to focus on during a Nearpod while you're in a Zoom meeting so that you can follow along with a teacher's presentation. If you don't, if you only need the Nearpod, then you can ignore the Zoom part. But let's say I'm in a Zoom meeting, such as a class, right? Then it's going to look something like this. Hopefully with more black screens, or ideally, hopefully with some faces, because we love it when students turn their cameras on. Yay. You're in a Zoom meeting and it's a class and there's a bunch of faces there. And then at some point, the teacher will drop in the chat something that looks like this. It'll say, here's the link for the Nearpod. Or go to nearpod.com/student and use the code QUCMF. If you are on a device where this link is easily clickable, like you see on my laptop here, and you really just want to click this link where it says share.nearpod.com/ and then a bunch of other stuff. If you're on a device where it's blue like this and it's easily clickable, you can just click on this and then it brings the Nearpod lesson up right away in a web browser for you. So in this case, you don't need to worry about any of that code business, right? If this link is nice and clickable, then I can just click on the link, show up, and then Nearpod's already here. It'll say, welcome to your lesson. And you're going to want to enter your name. All right, so I'm going to say Anthony 1 right now. I'm going to join the lesson. And then voila, I'm in the Nearpod, right? And then the teacher can go in and change the slides, and then you'll officially be in the presentation along with everybody else. And key, right, is that you're going to not want Zoom on full screen. So if Zoom is on full screen, then you're going to want to make sure to exit full screen, make the window smaller by clicking on it and dragging it so that you can have Zoom on one side of the screen and Nearpod on the other. Now, there are some devices where this link is not clickable. So for some of you, when you go into the chat, you're not going to see a nice blue link that says share.nearpod.com and be able to get into it super easily. So what you are going to have to do is something else entirely. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Okay, I'll leave this page. Okay, so if this doesn't work for you, then you're going to want to follow this direction where it says go to nearpod.com/student and use the code QUCMF. So in this case, you're going to want to make sure that Zoom is, again, not in full screen, right? If it's in full screen, you're going to want to hit exit full screen and make sure that Zoom's only taking up a portion of what you see. Then what you're going to want to do is open up a web browser. It could be Google Chrome, it could be Internet Explorer, whatever you prefer to use for your web browser. I prefer to use Google Chrome, so that's what I'm going to click on right now. So I have Zoom up. Now I have my web browser up, taking up roughly half of the screen as well. And then I'm going to follow the directions that were put in the chat where it says go to nearpod.com/student and use this code. So I'm going to type in right here, nearpod.com/student, and hit enter. Now this brings me to a page where it asks me for a code. It says join a session. Your teacher will give you a code to join the lesson. Thankfully, my teacher did put this code in earlier, so I can just take that code from the chat, type it in right here, then select join. So now that I've done that, I will be able to join the lesson just as I did in the earlier example when I clicked the link. Put my name in, hit join the lesson, and voila, I am in the Nearpod. So those are the two ways of getting into the Nearpod. The first is the easy one where you just click this link. However, on some devices, that won't be a possibility. So you have to make sure you go to the website nearpod.com/student and use the code that your teacher gives to you. If your teacher does not give you a code for the Nearpod, please never be afraid to ask for that code in the chat. If you don't see a code for the Nearpod, you can always type in the chat, "Hey, Mr. K, where is the Nearpod code?" And then, if Mr. K is a good guy, he'll say, "The code is UUCMF," and you got the code. So those are the two ways of joining Nearpod. I hope you had as much fun as I did today learning about Nearpod, because I love Nearpod. I'll see you later.